Hi, today's talk is there's not enough green advertising accountability in the world, and here's how we can change it. First of all, what's an example of greenwashing? Greenwashing refers to fashion companies that claim their products are environmentally friendly when they are not, or you can actually pick any industry. So an example of a greenwashing uh, issue from fashion companies recently today include the fast fashion brands Uniqlo, H&M, and Lululemon, which are popular with. So how can consumers find out if a corporation is greenwashing or using environmentally unsavory practices? Well, there's a recent article from Scientific American that talks about that. And included there is a reference to a great index of, of, of call it industry certifications, and it's called the Ecolabel Index. You can visit it, and there are over 450 eco-labels currently on that website that range or that work in nearly 200 countries. That's almost all around the world, and in unfortunately only 25 industry sectors. There are many other industries that don't have, I'll call it environmental or sustainability indexes or references or certifications that really need them. Now, is greenwashing illegal? In some countries, yes, laws have been established. Examples are in Australia and New Zealand. Um, there are others where it's not necessarily illegal, but there are uh, positive policies enforced to give companies who practice um, not non-greenwashing activities a head up. Um, how do you know if a company is greenwashing? Well, you can look beyond the advertising claims and read the ingredient lists or ask employees about the real skinny on their company's environmental commitment. You can also look for labels that show a given offering has been vetted by a reliable third party. Um, and that's what the Eco Label Index talks about. Those, but those eco labels are generally for a specific industry, and when you have a product or a service that crosses industries or is in its own brand new category, um, how do you actually deal with that? It's a question um, that um, really needs to be addressed. So, why is greenwashing bad? Well, the central danger in greenwashing is that it can mislead people into actually or acting in an unsustainable manner. If a company says that they're eco-friendly, either their products or their services, you may want to buy their products. If these environmental claims turn out to be false, then you've accidentally contributed to harming the environment by supporting that company. Now, there's another concept close or similar to this, and it's called blue washing, and it's similar to greenwashing. Blue washing is a technique employed by some corporations and companies to form collaborations and associations with various United Nations agencies to portray themselves as being compliant with principles of the United Nations Global Compact while not actually being so in actuality. So there's greenwashing and blue washing. Oh, wait, there's another type. And so greenwashing is used to describe the practice of companies launching advertisements, campaigns, products, etc., under the pretense that they are environmentally beneficial, often in contradiction to their environmental and sustainability record in general. So, what big companies have been accused of greenwashing? Well, this past year in 2020, there's a number of brands and companies. As an example, Blueland, which promotes itself to be 100% recyclable cleaning products. Tide PerClean, that's a plant-based laundry detergent. Windex and other household cleaners, those are brands that are quote-unquote non-toxic. Then you've got automobile manufacturers like Volkswagen, BMW, Chevy, Ford, Mercedes-Benz. They have quote-unquote clean diesel autos. While they may be relatively cleaner, they're not always clean in a environmental impact sense. You might talk about green pan in the area of quote-unquote green cookware. The name suggests that they're green, but they're not necessarily. Nestle, they talk about creating sustainably sourced cocoa beans. And of course, in Canada, McDonald's, yes, McDonald's is promoting the fact that they are using sustainably sourced cattle for their hamburgers, sandwiches. And see, it's all about the language. Do you call McDonald's hamburger a sandwich, or do you call it a hamburger? It's all about, you really have to listen carefully, and you have to read the labels. But when you look at the details, only 20% of their beef is sustainably sourced. So that means only like 4 out of 5 hamburgers are not that they produce. Well, really good question. And so why do companies use greenwashing? Greenwashing is when a company or organization spends more time and money on marketing themselves as environmentally friendly than on minimizing their environmental impact. Well, that's sort of like a gross oversimplification. It's a deceitful advertising gimmick intended to mislead consumers who prefer to buy goods and services from environmentally conscious brands, and they are out there. So how do you fix greenwashing? Well, there are 5 major methods. One is do your homework. Find out the green expectations of environmentalists and consumers. And if you're working for a company and looking to become green or sustainable, really know what's expected of you. Be honest and humbled. If your company or product is not 100% green, then admit it. All right, and keep it transparent. Make it easy for your customers to understand and check the green claims that you're making. And work with all of the stakeholders that are involved, everything from your supply and delivery chains to customers, clients, and the people who've felt they've been wronged, as well as people who are in the environmental industry looking to make sure that we're doing good for the planet. And lastly, but not least, focus on the journey. All right? If you're only 10% of the way, let people know we've only just begun, because you may have 90% of the way to go. Greenwashing a problem? Well, all too often the efforts to make a product appear more green does not mean it's better for the environment. And sometimes it can actually have an adverse effect. The lack of standards and regulations around what constitutes eco-friendliness means that pretty much anything can be claimed to be green or environmentally friendly. But what you have to do is actually look at the full life cycle, do a life cycle analysis of the product or the service or the system or the organization. Greenwashing be good? Well, it's a great question, but generally no. When companies market a product or a service as eco-friendly, that might not necessarily be as green as they say, and that's known as greenwashing. As an example, take a look at boxed water or bottled water. Whether it comes in a plastic bottle or carton, it still isn't sustainable, and it shouldn't be marketed as green. How does greenwashing affect consumers? Well, Greenwashing exploits consumers' genuine environmental concerns, which create problems such as limiting consumers' ability to make actual environmentally friendly decisions and or generating confusion and skepticism towards all products promoting green credentials, including those that are genuinely more environmentally friendly. See, that's one of the worst part of having competitive marketplaces out there in the world of marketing, where disinformation campaigns can be used to cast doubt on products or services that are actually much, much better for the environment. Because someone may be interrupting a cash flow that was previously there. And businesses run on money, not necessarily on whether or not you're looking for improvement in the environment. Now, there's also, for example, another great example is their greenwashing in tourism. Greenwashing in tourism portrays a or a environmental, ethical responsibility or sustainability glow over tours and holiday accommodations compared to others in the market. So greenwashing uses marketing to portray and promote products, activities, and policies as environmentally friendly when in fact they are not. And so the last concept for today, what is social washing? Social washing refers to statements or policies that make a company appear more socially responsible than it actually is. So there's other really great terms that show up in the market. A Quizlet, what's a greenwashing Quizlet? A greenwashing is an environmental claim that is unfounded or irrelevant, also known as disinformation or an ecological masquerade. Lots of different words are used, and if you can change the language, this is a technique used from politics, if you can change the language to make it sound as though it's better than something else, to make people buy your product or service versus someone else's product or service, this is where the gray really shows up in greenwashing. So that's it for today. Look forward to speaking with you next time. Bye for now.